Going to be the backup catcher for the New York Yankees in 2025? We don't know yet, right? Let's go with some names. And I'm going to give you the previews for NFL Week 17. And by the way, if you're a baseball fan, and if you're a football fan and a baseball fan, you're not subbed to this channel, please hit that sub button. Okay, please turn on your notifications because I'll keep you updated on everything, whether it's Yankees or other teams and other players and the NFL now that I'm covering too. And I thank you so much for it. So my goal is to get to 30,000 subs in 2025, and your support is really appreciated. So with that said, obviously Austin Wells is catching. Now they traded Jose Trevino to the Cincinnati Reds. Got a very, very potentially super high ceiling reliever in return to add to that bullpen, right? Fernando Cruz. He strikes out about 15 Ks per 9 innings. Big arm. Absolutely huge arm. But who are the backups now? Well, there's a couple guys on the 40-man roster. I'm going to go over in-house, go over a couple free agent options, and then one trade option too. So you got Alex Jackson, who's a 29-year-old who was acquired in a trade, okay? And again, he's got to cut down on his K rate, but he is a solid catcher. So if you're looking for a super offensive output, you're not going to really find it from any of the catchers that are available right now. I mean, Kyle Higashioka had some pop, but he already signed with the Texas Rangers. So the catching market moved pretty quickly early this offseason. So Travis d'Arnaud and the rest of these guys, they're already off the board. So Alex Jackson is one. Then obviously you've got J.C. Escarra, who I think is probably the favorite for backup catcher. He's a 29-year-old as well as Alex Jackson. He's got solid minor league baseball stats, especially in AAA recently too. He's got also does a 142 or WRC plus in about 52 games there. So that's pretty darn good. He also covers first base. So he's got positional versatility like Ben Rice, who we'll talk about in a minute too. He's already on the 40-man roster, so he's protected there. And, he's also the batting champ in the Dominican Republic Winter League as well. He batted 363 in the Dominican Winter League. So his offensive potential is legitimate. So that's another option. Obviously, then you got Ben Rice, another catcher first base option. He had a cup of coffee at first base last year, to cover from Anthony Rizzo. He was up for a little while, and then he was down for a little while. So he didn't really get a fair shot, right? A legitimate shot. Now we've got Paul Goldschmidt, and I doubt he's going to be platooning with Ben Rice. He's going to be the starting first baseman, particularly since his on-base percentage was 50 points higher than some of the other guys that they were looking at, and his OPS is hundreds of points higher than at Yankee Stadium than the other guys they were looking at too in free agency and trades. So Goldschmidt's going to get the majority of the reps, but Ben Rice, obviously, he's 25 years old, and again, he's got experience at both positions. But his path to staying in the Bronx is probably more clear at the catching position at this point as a backup, as opposed to first baseman. So that's just the unfortunate truth there. And obviously we got Jesus Rodriguez, who they also acquired earlier this offseason in a trade too. He's a 22-year-old. Now he hasn't gone above Double-A yet, but his bat plays as well. 332 batting average, 919 OPS in the Single-A and Double-A. So his bat is translating upward. Now, it still remains to be seen as to whether that's going to translate up at AAA and the majors, but so far, so good. So those are the in-house options, okay? Now, free agent options, you have Elias Diaz, who was a 2023 All-Star MVP. He was a catcher with the Rockies, then he went to, I think, the Padres, and he's a free agent. So, solid catcher behind the dish. He's a veteran player, so you could probably have him on a relatively cheap contract. And you got Yasmani Grandal, a super experienced veteran. He's been around for over a decade. And again, he's a two-time All-Star too, and he's a switch hitter. So that's another piece of versatility for him as well. Austin Wells is not a switch hitter. So he also was Paul Skeen's personal catcher in 2024 in Pittsburgh. So just to show he's very good at catching ace-level pitchers. So that's another thing too. Jose Trevino was most of the time Garrett Cole's personal catcher. This is another guy who's shown a very, very capable of catching high-end pitching. So that's a boost to his skill set too. Then you have James McCann. He's a veteran journeyman too. He's also with the Mets for a little bit. His offense has kind of regressed recently, but he's very solid at the catching position. So those are the free agent options. And then you have the trade option to me is Henry Davis, who was a former number 1 overall pick a few years ago in the draft. He's also with Pittsburgh, but they're looking to kind of maneuver things around. So he could be a guy that could be gotten in a trade. I don't know for what, but Pittsburgh can use some superfluous pieces. The Yankees have a lot of those, some positional pieces. So even a relief arm or a young starter or something like that to add to that pitching stable. Henry Davis sounds like a gettable guy. So that's probably the only trade option at this point I would consider. So you let me know what your thoughts are. Who would you have as the backup position of any of these guys? Or are you thinking of someone else? Let me know what your thoughts are. Now let's get over to football, okay? NFL Week 17, my Jets, my 4-11 wonderful Jets are in Buffalo to face the 12-3 Bills. Okay, the Bills are 10-point favorites. The over on this is 44.5 points, and I'm taking the Bills on the under here. I can't see the Jets winning any more games this season. They've already blown their opportunity to get a top 3 pick most likely. So unfortunately, looks like right now the Giants are all but securing the number 1 pick. So hopefully they don't blow that. Next up, you have the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 3-12 in New Orleans to face the 5-10 Saints. The Raiders are actually 2-point favorites. The over-under this is 37.5 points. I'm going to go with the Raiders here on the over. I do think the Raiders can pull a win out of them. So, then part of the noise in the background, my kids are going crazy upstairs. Then you have the Indianapolis Colts, who are 7-8 in the MetLife to face the 2-13 Giants. The Indianapolis Colts are 7-point favorites. The over-under this is 40.5 points. I'm going with the Colts on the under. Then you have the Dallas Cowboys, battle of the NFC East today, in Philly to face the Eagles. Cowboys are 7-8. The Eagles are 12-3. The Eagles are finding ways to win big games. So they are beatable. But they are 7.5-point favorites. The over-under this is 38 points. I'm going with the Eagles on the over. Then you have the Carolina Panthers, who are 4-11, in Tampa to face the Buccaneers, who are 8-7. Okay, Buccaneers are 10-point favorites. The over-under this is 47.5 points. I am going with Tampa, but I'm going on the under here. Then you have the Tennessee Titans, who are 3-12, to face their mutual 3-12 partner, Jacksonville Jaguars. The battle of the 3-12s. The Jaguars are 1-point favorites. The over-under this is 38 points. I'm actually going to go with the Jags to get pull out a close win. Then you have the Miami Dolphins, who are 7-8 in Cleveland to face the 3-12 Browns. I'm surprised the Browns are 3-12. I really am. Miami's a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under is 33 points. I'm going to go Miami on the over. I think it'll score more than 33 points. Then you have the Green Bay Packers, who are 11-4. They're rocking and rolling with the Jordan Love over there against the 13-2 Vikings. Battle of the Titans here too. They are in Minnesota. Minnesota's a 1-point favorite. The over-under on this is 49 points. I'm actually going to go with Minnesota on a very, very close game. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers won. And then you've got tonight the Atlanta Falcons, who are 8-7, to face the Washington Commanders, who are 10-5 in Washington. The Commanders are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under on this is 46.5 points. I'm going to go with the Commanders in the win for this on the over. And then tomorrow night you have the Detroit Lions, who are 13-2. Face the 6-9 49ers in San Francisco. The Lions are 3.5-point favorites. I am going to go with the Lions to win this. The over on this is 50.5 points. Going with the Lions on the under, but not that far on the under. So I think it'll be close to 50 points. And obviously yesterday, the Cincinnati Bengals defeated the Denver Broncos 30-24, and then the Chargers. Man, Jim Harbaugh's got these guys rolling. 10-6 now to beat the New England Patriots 40-7. So these guys are not playing games. I could see. Jim Harbaugh is one of the first few college coaches who have translated relatively smoothly to the NFL with success. So I got to give him credit for that. So those are previews of the games. Let me know what your thoughts are, and let me know what you think. Again, who the backup catcher in your view would be? If you were the GM of the Yankees or the owner of the Yankees, who would you want backing up the catcher position, backing up Austin Wells? So let's talk about it. Have a great rest of your day. Love all of you. You are the best. Again, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you've been with us for a while, welcome back. You are the best, gang. Have a great day. Talk to you next time.